Hey, everybody. Today we are doing something a little different. We're flipping the script and interviewing the host of this very podcast, Email and Coffee. Joy Brooks has been asking questions for over 200 episodes, exploring everything from entrepreneurship, email marketing, filmmaking, to UFOs, and the wisdom that comes from decades of rich life experience. And I know she's got it. She's facilitated mastermind groups, builds communities, and has this wonderful ability to find the connecting threads between seemingly different topics and people. I have a suspicion that she's the one that connects us all here. So today, I thought it was time that we got to know the person behind all these conversations. So Joy Brooks, welcome to your own show.
Welcome to your life, Joy Brooks. Everyone's roasting me. Is Don Rickles here? Oh man, Don Rickles is gone. Well, that's good, 'cause I don't know if I can handle Don Rickles' personality.
Well, hello. I know. First of all, I think it would be helpful for people to know our friendship and relationship and how far back that goes, and how you and I came to know each other. Which I know that we were in the Women in Email Mastermind together, which you started. But did we meet before that?
If I remember correctly, you were one of those people that cold messaged me at LinkedIn and said, "I'd like to talk with you. Do you have any time?"
That's
I was
right.
like, sure, because I'm not one of those people at LinkedIn that says, "Oh, I hate when people just connect with me and they just." That's exactly what LinkedIn is. I
I
love the fact that people just connect and say, "Can we talk?"
Yeah. Okay. I remember now. Thanks for that reminder. I think I saw something I came across because I was in email marketing. I still am, but back then I was working in corporate, and I think I read something that you wrote about email marketing or yourself or something, and I just resonated with it. You felt like more of a seasoned professional in the industry, and I liked the tone. It was really much of um, just here's the real deal kind of thing. And I just resonated with that, especially there weren't a lot of folks that were in our age group. So and I reached out to you. That's right. And I wanted to meet you. So thanks. That was like, what, 7, 8 years
It could have
ago?
been. I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was before the pandemic. That's kind of how life goes.
Definitely. Oh, absolutely. But we
There's
were already
BP and
friends.
AP before pandemic and after pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here you are on the other side of the microphone and being interviewed. How's that feel?
I've been invited onto a few other shows,
Okay.
so I've done this before. But I
Okay.
have no problem talking. Excuse me.
Yeah, you don't have a problem talking?
I have a problem talking. I have no problem speaking ad nauseum.
Got it.
One of the reasons why I did, or one of the reasons why I do the interview is to shut up and listen.
Okay. So why did you start this podcast and when did you start?
I have a annoying muse, demon, whatever. I don't know. All my life. It basically urges me on. It tells me to do stupid things. Sometimes it tells me to do good things. Sometimes it tells me to do stupid things. I mean, it wasn't very helpful in my youth, but needless to say, as I grew older, the diamond grew more mature as well. Imagine that. So I was trying to figure out what the next thing was that I was going to do. Um, was it email marketing? Was it, what was it? Because I was getting close to the end of my career, and I thought, well, what's going to carry me over?
Right. Carry you
Or
over
what's
to
going to be my swan song? What? just, like what? What is it? And, talking with a lot of people said, oh, write a book. Oh, it's great passive income. All right. And, oh, do this, oh, do that. I started networking because I figured, what better way to figure out what it is I want to do than see what other people do.
Oh,
Basically the wheel's been created. All you need to do is, oh, I like that wheel. I'll take that wheel.
so it sounds like you kind of started it as a personal exploration on what you were going to do next.
Exactly. I
And
had no idea what it was. I had no idea. No idea.
okay. And it was started at a time, so 2020, that was a lot of changes for pretty much the entire planet. But from your
Started
own
it
personal
just before
perspective,
the pandemic. Just before the pandemic.
just before the pandemic. Okay. So you started this as basically a personal exploration on kind of figuring out your next chapter or
Right.
your next
Right.
scene kind of thing.
Right. Right.
Okay, your next act.
Exactly. So,
Um,
because I,
and
I thought to myself, I have a microphone, I have a camera,
mhm,
I have Zoom,
mhm.
do it. And the
Okay,
voice said, yeah. And
okay.
this is my puppet. This is my puppet demon. It's like, yeah.
And how have you found that thing that you started it for? Like your next gig, your next chapter, your next act, or is
Well,
the
it was
podcast?
everything that it needed. It filled all of the requirements. So there was a need for legacy. It fills that. Like, what am I going to leave behind? There was a need for me to pass on what I know, what I think I know, what I think I know,
Okay.
and it fills that requirement. There was a need to meet other people, but on a one-to-one basis, because I'm generally shy, oddly enough. There was a need to learn, and every single one of these buckets got filled. So I was like, well, this is enormously gratifying. Yeah. And so
So
I
when
just,
you're like, you wanted to meet other people, check. You wanted to learn new things, check. You wanted to share your wisdom as sort of a legacy kind of thing, check. Did I miss something else? Nope. And how has your experience of generating and overseeing email and coffee over the years, how has it changed from episode 1 to now? Like, how has it evolved for you?
it's evolved greatly, enormously, ginormously,
Got
um,
that. Yep. A
because
lot.
in
It's evolved a lot.
yeah, initially,
Yep.
because as it sounds, email and coffee, I was going to talk with peers about email,
Uh,
and I hadn't thought it through, as in longevity or sustainability. I was just following, yeah, I was just doing that. I was like,
mhm.
I'll do a podcast about what? I don't know. Oh, email and coffee. That's my brand name. Do it. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, so, did it. And interviewed a lot of people. We talked about email for a year, at which point that very same quality that drew you to me kicked in, where I was like, I can't talk about email anymore. I'm going to
Mhm.
puke. I mean, I get
Yes.
it. I do it. It's important. Thank you very much. Is there anything else in life that we could talk about? I
Mhm.
think so.
Hi.
Right. I'm like, okay. All right. Thank you. So I was like, what am I going to do? Do it. Oh, this voice is useless.
Did
So
you
I was like, let's open it up to digital people. Stay in
and
the same universe.
say that again?
Stay in the same universe.
Okay.
So then I started talking with coaches and people, people who are in marketing and all that. So it opens it. And then I thought after another year two, I can't do this anymore. I cannot talk to another person about marketing. It's the same old thing over and over again. I mean, I talked to people that did packaging. I talked to people that did automation, events, coaches. I mean, every, as far as I'm concerned, I hit the whole thing and kept going and
Hmm.
thought at some point, okay, this is enough. It's the same thing. It's not that it's bad. It doesn't have longevity. And I want longevity. Uh-huh. Okay. So I was like, you know what? I'm just talking to people.
Hmm.
And then I thought to myself, you know what? You have this comedian that I enjoyed the television show, Jerry Seinfeld. You always compare yourself to Jerry Seinfeld because you're the same age, you grew up on Long Island, you're both Jewish, yeah, blah blah blah. A lot of things are similar with Jerry Seinfeld and myself and other people. I'm not the only similarity. But I thought he did a show about nothing. Well,
About
guess
that.
what, girls?
Okay.
I'm doing a show about everything. Right. I'm like, oh, thank you, puppet. So that's it. I was just like, that's it. I'm doing a show about everything. I have enough interests that I could do this because I'm so interested. And so that's it. I just did it. And then I reached out to anybody and everybody.
So
And that was 3 years ago.
okay. So halfway through this odyssey, this journey, this podcast adventure, you went from email to marketing to coaches and business, to all of a sudden about everything because
Everything.
that's what interested you.
Everything.
I don't think you'll ever run that out. Like you can run out of I totally understand. There's only so much stuff you can talk about when it comes to email. There's only so much stuff you can talk about when it comes to entrepreneurialism and um, entrepreneurship. I'm sorry, and marketing and building a business and all the things, right? And then moving on to what else interests you in life. And I feel like I really admire the fact that you've really, taken the reins on that to use this platform as a way of just exploring and talking about a lot of different topics that interest you. And it's fascinating. And does it concern you that, because they usually tell people you got to have a theme, you got to have a focus, like who's your audience, that kind of thing? Like, how do you respond when someone might bring up that sort of objection, if you will?
So another format that was very popular, or still is. I don't know if anybody watches late night television,
Mm,
but there's the talk show.
the talk
Now
show, right?
that's the format. I mean,
Okay.
I don't want to say I am not comparing myself. I'm not trying to do what Joe Rogan did, but that's the concept. In other words, he interviews people that interests him.
Got it. All right.
And I'm like, that, it's really that simple. And again, it's that wheel concept. I'm not reinventing the wheel, but
Hmm.
the format's already been done.
Right. Well, you've interviewed, like as we said earlier, you've interviewed a lot of people, like over 175 from what I calculated. And I'm wondering, if you think about the interviews that you've done, have you noticed any patterns or characteristics of what makes people interesting to talk to, or maybe even successful in the field that they're an expert or have facility in?
Well, I've had some interviews, or I've scheduled some interviews where I'm thinking, this is, I'll just get over this. It'll be fine. It's content. And it turns out to surprise me. And what I've discovered is that given the person is willing to talk,
Mhm.
and is not sitting there waiting for a question and answers yes or no, right? If they're willing to have a conversation, they're going to say something. They're going to say something that is worth its weight in gold. It's just going to be, jaw dropping. I mean, it's simple and jaw dropping at the same time.
Wow.
And
Okay.
it's happened every single time. Every time.
Can you give us any example of that? And you don't have to name names or anything like that, but
No, I once asked
what was
somebody,
something that
I
you,
once asked, I'm sorry, I once asked, before I forget what it is, because I will,
yeah,
I once asked somebody, memory, I once asked someone
yes.
about the effects on their life, the effects of social media on their life, thinking we were going to have a conversation about, oh, my friends and things like that. And what she said was, being a social worker, she said that there's no way to get word out about the orphanage that she's working at. And social media has done so many great things. And she went on to explain it. That wasn't what I meant or intended at all.
What did you intend versus what did you end
I
up with?
thought she was going to talk about herself
Oh, okay.
and social media.
Right.
And she talked about the work that she's doing and how that's getting shared on social media
Mm-hmm.
and how wonderful that is.
Okay. And
Now,
you were sort of
she
expecting.
wasn't BSing. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Got it.
Exactly. Because
Interesting.
we'll all say our frame of mind is, if that kid picks up that telephone one more time, I'm just going to throw it out the window. That's not what she said.
Okay. Why did you ask that question then?
Because I wanted to know.
But you were
Um,
expecting an answer.
I was expecting something different because of her um, geography, her age,
Mm-hmm.
and culture. But I
Okay.
didn't know what I was going to expect. But I
Okay.
did expect it to be somewhat negative, but I did not expect it to be what it was. And
Okay.
I've had very recently. I asked a question, and he said, "I hope I don't ruin it." He said that people are like museums,
I like that. That's a great metaphor.
right? I was like, "Well, I would have never said that. I don't know, that's a." So people say very interesting things.
That is cool. People are like museums, although I've met a few people that are more like a 7-Eleven. So,
Well, they make yeah. Well, still, that doesn't matter. The point is, there's a lot in there. They're packed in with stuff,
right.
and that's how I really, you know, the thing with life is all about perspective. It really is. And once you realize that you have the ability to change your perspective, then things change immediately, literally immediately, like on that dime. Because if somebody says to you, how are you? And you say, oh God, that's going to be the conversation. That's their perception. They're going to ask you what's wrong. You're going to tell them what's wrong. It's going to be Debbie Downer.
Mm-hmm. My sense, though, I've known you for several years, Joy, that, um, you know, as we all know, and you just listen to your podcast, you have your point of view and you have opinions, I think. And I'm wondering, as you just described, when you ask questions and you get a completely different answer, and you then sounds like you've evolved how you come to the interview. Like you personally, how do you come to this from a preconceived idea to, I need to be more open. I need to have this space of just just be present without having a preconceived context or idea or opinion of what's going to happen. It feels to me like this is a very personal evolution for you.
Right. That's right. That's right.
Because you have some hard edges, or you had, and it seems to me from observing you over the years that it's softened a little bit.
Well, that was part of the perception, because the perception was there's a routine and you stick with it, and that reverberated out to all edges of my life. So there's a way and you follow it. I still believe in that. But I also believe there's an exception to every rule. And you have to give yourself a moment to be in the exception to see how it feels. Then you weigh it and you say, oh, I didn't think it was going to be like this. This is not bad. Put that in your toolbox. Or no, it's worse than I thought it was. No. And that's okay. Either way. But you've got to give yourself a moment to be in that exception.
Well, so you're saying give yourself a moment to be in the exception. Is that right? Did I hear that right? Okay.
Yes. In other words, you have expectations, and here are the rules.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't color outside the line.
Mm-hmm.
No, do that. Right? Except when you do, it's like, oh, okay, whoops. And
right.
then once you're outside of the line, look around. Oh, it's not so bad out here. Now color the rest of the page. Wow, that was fun. The end.
Well, I mean, I'm curious, because I would think that, a lot of people have maybe thought about pursuing something like this where they really have to put themselves out. They have to put themselves out there and just do the thing. But they might be gripped by a lot of fear. And that fear probably looks like doing it wrong, getting laughed at, attracting trolls, being visible. Being visible is a huge concern and anxiety for a lot of folks. So did you have that starting out, or were you just like, fuck it, I'm just going to do this? Or if you had some of that, or if you didn't so much, but do you have advice for people? Not advice, but how would you address that if someone says, gosh, I'm so fearful of putting myself out there and getting, whatever the negative results they're probably thinking about, because that's what fear is about.
So I was never afraid of putting myself out there one-to-one.
Okay.
Never. So if anybody comes up to me and we start to have a conversation, I'm not shy at all. I'm annoyed. I'm not shy at all. So the format was easy for me. There's no audience. I don't see anybody except one person. I could do this.
Mm-hmm.
So my only fear, uniquely, my fear is getting up on stage and talking to a lot of people.
Okay.
That experience scares me, and also it's not who I am. In other words, I'm not acting. I'm not pretending. I'm not up there entertaining anyone.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between me becoming a speaker and me doing this format is Mount Everest. It's huge. And a lot of people would think, oh, I want to be a speaker, so I'll do a podcast. No. When you're a speaker, you get up, you have a speech, you give it, and somebody, maybe somebody asks a question. If you're on a panel, totally different format again. I could be on a panel, but a speaker is different. I'm not a speaker. And the reason is, although I speak ad nauseum, in the end, it's not about me. It's about that connection with the other person. And if I shut up long enough, I can actually hear the other person speak. But it is about that connection. I am trying to connect with someone else.
Okay.
So if you're interested in other people, podcasting becomes a natural outlet. If all you're trying to do is monetize whatever it is you're trying to do, then the reason you're coming to the format is different, and it may not be sustainable. So you might be able to do it, but it may not be sustainable. Like if I was just coming, if email and coffee was just a way for me to sell my email marketing services, I would have run out in year one, and I would have probably hated my job.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, I'm such a failure, because that wasn't the reason I was podcasting. It never was.
I
So
love that. I
the
love
answer to the question is, how do people, if they're afraid, how do they get over their fear? It really shouldn't be a fear. There shouldn't be any fear. It really, your interest in your guest should be so strong that it doesn't enter your mind that I'm going to do something stupid, that I got a boogie in my nose. You don't think those things. You just carry on the conversation till somebody says, sure, you got a boogie on your nose. Oh, I'm sorry. You make a mistake. So what?
Well, that speaks to people who have this thing called, well, it's labeled as perfectionism. But I think if that's more of a fear, a different fear, but how would you respond to someone who starts talking about, well, what if this goes wrong? And what
There's
if
no such thing as perfect.
you don't care. Like you
I
just,
don't care. Exactly. The thing is, it just has to, I just have to know exactly what I'm going to do. You don't know anything at all. Face
right.
it. Let's start with that. You don't know anything at all. You're learning. Hello. Go with
Okay.
it. All right. That's the first thing. Oh, I can't do that. So you need it scripted? Yeah, it has to be scripted. That's not a podcast.
Okay.
You're doing a speech. Your interview has to be, you can't think on a dime. Don't podcast. If you're wanting to monetize, again, that's a whole different ball game.
Right. Okay. Okay.
So the person that says to me, I want to do podcasting, the next question is, what is the format of the podcast? And, because I'm on LinkedIn, I get dozens of people asking to help me with my podcast, to get leads and all these things. And I
Okay.
answer back, thank you very much. I'm not interested in leads.
Got it.
I'm interested in interesting people. That's the format. And it tells me, right, they haven't watched my podcast. They don't know what I'm doing.
Interesting. I feel like because you don't have that as your end all goal, it gives you a certain sense of freedom. And actually gives you all the freedom to do whatever you want, talk to whoever you want, about whatever you want, whenever you want. I mean, I feel like a lot of people strive for freedom in many different flavors. But it feels like in this particular endeavor, you have achieved that.
I have creative freedom. And one of the issues every day. How do I monetize YouTube? Because it wouldn't be bad if I could make a little money off of it.
Say that again.
It wouldn't be bad if I could make a
Mm-hmm.
little bit of money off of YouTube.
Right.
But in every way that I can think of, I'm not doing that. No, I'm not going to do that. So I'm thinking, what is wrong with the equation here? 1 + 1 = 2.
Mm-hmm.
You want 2, don't you? Yes. Yes. But, every time I try to put the pieces together, the piece doesn't fit.
Yeah.
So I've decided, you know what? Leave it be. I'm going to do what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to come to me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to find it. It's going to find me.
What is it?
I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
But
whatever that
that's
is.
how I started. That's how I started the podcast. So I'm thinking, I don't know what it is, and leave it be until it finds me.
Okay. I think there's a certain sense of ease around that perspective. Like, I'm just going to keep doing what I do and see where it takes me. And, it would be nice to have some kind of like big sort of monetary opportunity or something kind of come in your way. And if that is what's um what's going to be, then it'll show up eventually. We just
That's
keep doing
what
what you're
it's
doing.
really, and I'm done manifesting it. Like, oh, I'm going to try really hard to do this, and then after I've done it 5 times, I'll contact the sponsor that I'm
Right.
doing this for, and I'm like, stop! You're pushing it. It's not going to work.
Well, where do you see taking it in the future then? Like what is your if it's evolved up to this point, is there an intention or an ideal that you would like to move toward or move forward with when it comes to email and coffee in your podcast?
The bigger guests, I would be excited to have the bigger guests.
A bigger guest. Okay.
I mean, I will reach out to people, and I'll get ghosted. Yeah, that's it. I'll
Okay.
get ghosted, and I'll try again, and I'll get
Mhm.
ghosted, and I'll try a third time because I do believe in 3 strikes and you're out. And at the third ghost, I'm like, okay, you know, um, I've reached out to authors. I've reached out to college professors. I mean, I've reached out to people that have skin in the game,
Mhm.
in their own game, not my game, their own game. And they, I realize that they not only have something to say, but they have something to lose.
What do you mean by that? Because I'm
Because
fine.
podcasts can be, podcasts are social content. And so, God forbid they say anything, it can be used in any kind of a context. And given their, depending on who they are, given their station in life, it may work against them. So, for example, if I have a professor on and he says something and the whole world goes against him, could he lose tenure? Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he doesn't know who I am. I
Mhm.
mean, he's not going to sit down and listen to everything I've ever said. So he doesn't know, what's going to happen. So I understand that. You've got to find somebody that's, they feel like there's nothing they can lose by it. And they're pretty confident in what they say. And social media doesn't scare them. Social media is scary.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I haven't had anybody to this date come and have a comment like, that could make someone cry.
Mhm.
I've had inappropriate things and I just delete them. I'm
Mhm.
like, this isn't appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
delete.
You don't even respond. You just delete it. Like,
If it's totally inappropriate. I mean,
mm-hmm.
in the past, I've said, now that's not appropriate, but I don't want us to have that argument online.
Right. That's
That's, the
glad you
point
do
of
that.
this.
Like
If
not.
they have an opinion
Uh-huh.
and they say, oh, when he said this, she said this is my opinion, fine. That's what the comments are for in YouTube. But it's not there to shoot somebody in the foot.
Right.
And my show is not supposed to be a gotcha. While I have, as you said, some hard edges and opinions, if someone says on the show something that I disagree with,
Mm-hmm.
my face is going to clearly go blank. And I might say, well, I don't agree with that. And if they say, well, what do you think? We'll have a conversation. If they don't, they don't. I mean, it's simple. It's not a gotcha. I didn't say you're an idiot and here's why.
Right.
That's not the point of the show. The
Right.
point of the show is I'm interviewing someone else. This is their opinion. This is their opinion.
Mm-hmm. Well, so what's kind of a present for me right now is Email and Coffee and your podcast has a bit of has headwinds in but you do find people to talk with and to interview. If you were going to say go upstream, for lack of a better term, those folks are looking for, well, how big is her audience and how many
Right.
people does she
Right.
attract? And then
Right.
so there's like, what's in it for me? Right? Because everybody's always playing that radio station, WIIFM. What's in it for me? And then also, it's risky for people to maybe go on to something that's not quite, approved, if you will. Or what if they say something that's going to come back to them? So, do you essentially, because it kind of sounds to me like you don't really care. Or do you do care and how
Well,
do you,
that's the challenge. The challenge is, first of all, remembering, I have to remember it's not about me, it's about you. Right. So when I reach out and I try to do the interview and they say no, okay, it's not about me.
mm-hmm,
And if somebody were to say to my face, you suck, well, then it's about me, but then I deal with it on a different level, right? No one's said that. They've just said no, or
right.
they ghost me, right? So um, it's somewhat a challenge that
Mm-hmm,
I found I'm willing to take. I enjoy this challenge
got it.
because now it's a way of reaching out to people
Mm-hmm,
that have different levels of social. So, I don't know. They're different socially, so I don't want to use the term class, but they do different things.
Socioeconomic class it's the reality of
Right,
the
right.
culture that
So,
we live in.
would I reach out to Jerry Seinfeld if I had his email address? I would. Yes, I'd get ghosted. If would I call? Would I email Jerry Seinfeld and ask him to be on the show? Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah,
I have no idea how to do it. I have no idea how to do it.
right.
None at all. But
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean that I haven't tried to reach out to some people
Mm-hmm.
that equally attract me um, when I can find how to get to them. Right. Um, and again, sometimes I get a note saying, I'm not taking, I don't do podcasts. And I'm like, wow, they answered me. And I don't do podcasts. Cool. But they answered me. So, you just keep going. Like I said, it's not about me.
Right.
The only thing that's about me is that everybody who comes on the show teaches me something. That's that's my goal. That's the goal on the end of the rainbow.
Well, then maybe it's not pursuing specific people, but maybe it's pursuing topics. like, what are some things or topics that you're interested in knowing more about? And then finding a swath of people that
Right.
are experts in that. Maybe
Absolutely.
they're not in it for marketing their own businesses, although that would be fine. But it could be an opportunity for them to talk about the thing and basically, on the positive side, school you on whatever the topic is.
Right.
So,
No, that's definitely it. There's themes, there's people, there's places. I mean, there are a lot of different things,
mhm.
different reasons why I might want to interview somebody.
So what are some of the things that you want to learn about that you would bring
Um,
a podcast, you
I
would
love
bring
history. I love history. So I bring
history?
history. I bring on anybody who wants to talk about history. I love science. I bring on anybody who wants to talk science. I
Okay.
love I love some books. I would bring on anybody any of the books that I've read. I'd bring them on. Talk about their books, the characters in their books, etc., etc. Um, I have an interest in uh, philosophy. So I mean, just those are three huge categories, and I
Those
might
are
have missed
huge. That's
huge,
right.
and they keep me busy. They keep me busy, but uh, you know, trying to um, just because I say I love talking about history doesn't mean well that you should be writing to everybody all day long. It means finding people that um, want to talk about history, having a short intro with them, an intro
Mhm.
call,
Yeah,
and then putting it together. And as I said, for 10 emails that I send out, I can get ghosted on all but one.
right.
And I just put out 10 more
Okay.
until, and I keep going.
I would think that somebody who is proficient in their field, they write a lot about it. Maybe they're blogging and articles, Medium and Substack, but they don't talk about it on any kind of audio format. And maybe they're playing around with the idea of incorporating podcasting into their own teaching, if you will, that you would be a really nice like segue into that. They can kind of get the experience of what it is to talk online and be asked questions and also share their knowledge in a format that they are considering doing, or maybe you've never done before, or it's an experiment, or it's just something, another opportunity for them to share something that they're wildly passionate about sharing with people.
Here's the thing about people that I'm learning. Some people, like myself, can engage one-on-one, comfortable. Um, Other people can't. Or, I mean, they may be, let's talk about personality types. They may be a narcissist where they need to control everything. And doing a podcast, they're not in control. And so they don't want to do it. Unless they feel confident that they can control me. And who would feel confident controlling me? I don't think that's possible. So, narcissists, no. Bullshit artists. So people that know they don't, they know basically, I can bullshit anybody about anything. They're not going to want to come on the show,
Okay.
right? A bullshit artist with a passion will. So a bullshit artist who is currently coaching will come on the show
Mm-hmm.
and they'll talk all about coaching. And I've had a few of those. I've had enough of those. I've had enough of those to realize that for the most part, the coach, sorry guys, coaching is a bullshit entrepreneurial vessel for people that have no desire to do any work, just want to make as much money as possible. Grift. They're grifting.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be careful of that these days. It's huge. a lot of grifters. So there's a unique person that wants to be a guest. Somebody who's confident in what they do,
Mm-hmm.
confident in how they express themselves, can
Mm-hmm.
have a conversation, isn't shy, maybe a little awkward, but isn't really shy.
Mm-hmm.
Like they may say, "Oh, I'm an introvert," but once they realize it's just one on one, there's no
Yeah.
audience, it's comfortable. So it's a type of person that is a good guest, and it's not everybody.
Right.
It's
I
not
would think
everybody.
so. That kind of makes sense. Not every, this is not for everybody. And it's interesting and helpful to be, I think over time, you've kind of refined and narrowed down who would be a guest on your podcast that kind of checks your boxes, but then also the kind of person that they are and who they show up as. Like that's also
Right.
pretty key to it
Right.
being um, a good conversation,
Right.
an interesting not just good, but an interesting conversation that explores things that other people might not have thought about, or they know a little bit, but then they can learn a bit more. You kind of put yourself in your listener's shoes about what would be most interesting. Speaking of which, like your listeners might be interested in other aspects of who you are. Are you still writing? Because I know that that was a thing that you were pursuing. Are you still doing that?
So I have a story in my head. It's a pretty good story.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was able to flesh out the first chapter, and I got, I'm not going to call it block, I got stuck. I'm stuck between writing it, the format of writing it,
Okay.
and where it's going. Because as an avid reader,
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that when I'm reading, I sort of lose myself in the book.
Yep.
And unlike some people that um, cr- critique a book, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that chapter. Like, I don't do that at all. I'm totally in the book.
Sure.
Wherever the author's taking me, I'm going.
Okay.
And I don't say, oh, I didn't like that. It was too, I didn't like that. That conversation, I didn't like that. I'm just with the conversation,
Right.
right? The character had the conversation. I'm going with it. So in my mind, I'm thinking, how can I do this? How can I paint this character so with so much vibrancy that it has a conversation that the reader wants to continue reading, wants to see the end of it, and where is that person going, and how did that conversation impact the plot line, and wow, because when I read, sometimes I get to a part in the book where you're getting to the arc of the book and you know it.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, whoa, something's gonna, and you're all excited. Can't put the book down. Um, so that's what I'm thinking about now, and um, I don't have it fleshed out. So all that I keep doing is playing around with the character, playing in my head now, playing around with the character, playing around with who else is going to be in the book with her. Um,
So, Joy, are
and
you talking about the book you're writing or books that you read?
book I'm writing,
You're writing, and you're writing fiction,
historical fiction.
historical fiction. Okay. I was just curious. I know that you are an avid reader. Do you read one book at a time, or do you have multiple going on at once?
I'm like reading 3 books now. Three
Three?
books. 3 books.
Okay, so
Maybe 4.
what's on your nightstand? What are you reading?
So on my nightstand is a book, Greek. It's about images, Greek images, monsters, chimeras, things of that
What's
nature.
what's the
So it's
title of the book?
I can't remember it, but it's about
You can't
all the
remember the
all of the
title of a book you're
no,
reading?
no, really, because I'm reading too many. It's about Greek mythology, Greek art, and the animals, the flora and the fauna that are presented in that. So it discusses that
Got
as part of Greek culture and what it meant to the Greeks.
Okay, so this is a
In that,
non-fiction book.
oh, this is a heavy duty, like a scholarly, like if you were in college, that would be one of the books you'd have to read.
Got it. Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm not
Yeah,
sure I
so
want
that's
to
one
ask
book.
what else is on your nightstand.
Oh, I'm reading another one. Oh gosh, it's got a long title, but it's essentially about the Nation of Islam in America, which is
Okay,
very unique. Very
got
unique.
it. Okay.
Uh, reading
What
about
else?
that. I'm reading Greece. It's an Audible book, but it's a book, so it's an
Okay.
Audible book. It's another book about Greece. Greece. It's like a full history from the Bronze Age all the way to the Roman era
Okay.
on Greece. But it's I thought it was going to be historical, but it's very unique in the method. It's very enjoyable and unique. Um, and I'm also now and also reading another book. Uh, the Just finished a book. I'm reading books by Adrian Tchaikovsky. So Adrian Tchaikovsky is a science fiction epic fantasy writer. He's alive right now. Young man, a young man from England, um, and I'm reading all his books.
Okay.
So
Wow. Well, so
yeah,
do you read books or do you use an e-reader?
um, I have a Kindle. I read books. I have a
Okay.
Kindle. I'm also reading the Bible.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
just
would
reading
not
that.
have guessed that
Um,
about you. If someone has, three lies and a truth or three truths and a lie.
no, it's just like I read a lot. Um, so I have a Kindle. I have Audible, and sometimes it's only available as a book.
Okay. So you're on all the things.
Yes, yes.
Cool.
I there was a point in time where I would only buy books, and I had shelves. And
Okay.
my husband, may he rest in peace, said to me, "If you buy another book, I'm going to kill you." So I was like, "Okay, time to get a Nook." And it was a Barnes and Noble Nook that I got first. Then
Okay.
Barnes and Noble started shutting down their stores,
Right.
and I was like, got a Kindle. And
No.
there you go. Stuck with that. I've had a Kindle. I've had 3 Kindles.
Okay. So I wasn't quite sure I heard everything. Do you read all these books on your Kindle?
No, like I said,
So you mix, a Kindle
yes,
and then a regular physical book.
Kindle and
Okay.
like Audible
Okay.
and physical books.
Okay. So if I was going to go on a trip, like on a vacation soon, and I can only bring one book and I want to get a recommendation from you, Joy. What book should I go? What should I get to take
Oh,
on
well,
vacation?
what do you like to read?
I'll read anything.
Anything?
Anything. Nonfiction, fiction, memoirs,
Oh, that's a
biographies.
tough one. That's a really
Yeah.
tough one. Oh, I would, if I would say, pick up something by Dostoevsky.
Pick up something that what?
Dostoevsky.
Oh, Dostoevsky? You want
Yes.
me to read Russian literature?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Well, I
mean,
could try that.
just
I could try that. Which one?
I have um The Idiot.
Okay. Got it. All right.
That's
I
just
will
one. Brothers
consider that.
Karamazov.
Maybe.
Yeah. Brothers Karamazov.
Just
There's
continue on with my fairy smut and call it a day.
yeah, no, I I have had my genre. Like
Okay.
when I was from when I started reading as a kid, I liked to read genres. And I would,
Right.
well, I should say authors,
Okay.
right? And so they sometimes end up genres. They sometimes end up authors, right?
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm in my epic fantasy, science fiction fantasy genre.
Oh, you
And
are?
that started like 10 years ago
Okay.
because there's so many books
I
to
love
read.
science fiction and fantasy. I love it. So give me a recommendation in that genre.
Um, oh gosh. Oh, Raymond Feist has a number of books. I would pick up a Raymond Feist book.
A
I can't
Raymond.
Raymond Feist or a Daniel Abraham book.
Okay.
I mean, I could tell you authors, though they're great authors. They're
No,
great
that's
authors.
fine. I could
The
start
heavy books,
there.
I mean, obviously, the obvious king of at this point, who is still alive, of epic fantasy is J.R.R. Martin,
Yeah.
George,
Yep.
R.R.
Yeah.
Martin.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is the obvious, and I read those books.
You read
The
all
other
of them?
one is all of them, all of them.
Wow. Okay.
And I know he's not writing. He's not finishing that. He's not going to. I know
Yeah.
he's not. I really do. Um, the other one is Robert Jordan. Have you read The Wheel of Time?
The Wheel of Time? I have not.
That's another one. Wheel of Time
Okay.
is another. I mean, I've read the big epics,
Okay. It sounds like
the
you
big
have.
long,
Sure.
yeah, the big long ones. I like big long epics because that's when you really get into a character
Yep.
so much,
Okay.
and when an author can do that, it's amazing.
I hear you. So, wow, that's how much time do you spend reading in a week, average?
Well, I can spend about 5 hours a day,
Okay.
at least. At
Oh, that
least.
sounds like heaven to me. It really does.
Yeah,
Although I can
people,
spend 5 hours a day working in a bookstore, which is kind of what I can do sometimes.
right?
Um,
People ask me, what did you do Sunday? Well, walked the dogs 2 times, had coffee, and read a book,
okay.
an entire book.
I love it. I love it. Well, let me ask you, let me just kind of try to wrap things up with for your podcast, Email and Coffee right now. And we know that um, as a personal endeavor that checks the boxes of learning and meeting people and sharing wisdom, what are like 2 or 3 topics for your podcast that you would like to pursue next? And then we'll wrap up.
So that's interesting. So one of the things that I've been trying to talk with people about is the intersectionality of sexuality.
Okay.
It's something that has always interested me. Having grown up in the 60s, surrounded by so many gay people,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
that for me, it's not like weird,
Yeah.
but it's a conversation to be had. And now with modern times, um, something weird is happening. Something weird is happening. I don't care. It's one of those hard edges of mine. Something weird is happening, and I want to talk about it with people that can talk about it, not people that are going to immediately, say, "Oh, well, you're a bigot," because I'm not. I'm more than willing to understand what's going on. Like if somebody can explain it, I'd love it. I really would. Um, and the other
I
thing I
miss,
want
I
to talk,
miss, what is it that you want them to explain? You said like
I
something
enjoy
about it.
talking the interest. In other words, you've got you. There's a lot of things about people that make them different, right?
Yeah.
Gender, it's one of them. Sexuality is one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about that,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
right? Um, and talking about it, being open about it. The other thing, consciousness is something I want to talk about.
Say it
So
again.
consciousness.
Oh, consciousness. Okay.
And the newest thing is love. Like everybody talks about it. Oh, I love you. Bye. What the
Hmm.
fuck does that mean?
So
Oh,
you want
I love chocolate ice cream. Oh,
uh-huh.
I love that movie. Oh, I love that dress. Oh, I love that you said that. Oh, I love you. Oh my God. I mean, come on. Well, we use that word for almost everything. It's almost like the fuck word, where you could say, I fucking had a good time or fuck you. You know, it can mean anything.
Right. I think that's actually a really interesting thing to explore. And there are certain things that I think about that are so common, they're almost invisible. They are so ubiquitous that our consciousness and our awareness doesn't even click on it, doesn't even notice it. And I think love is one of those things that has multiple aspects to it. And um and it gets simplified. It's there's a certain aspect of duality assigned to it. And I
It's
think
not the opposite of hate, I'll tell
it
you that much.
exists on different levels. Now, and this could tie into your interest in consciousness.
Oh,
Because,
absolutely.
yeah, all
Love
right,
is consciousness. Love, this is what I
right,
recently, the epiphany. Love is consciousness, or
right.
consciousness is love.
Well, I would think then guests that are sort of spiritual leaders, religious leaders,
Mhm.
philosophers, to talk about the
I'm
concept of
looking.
kindness and
I'm
love
looking. I
and
might have
prayer.
found someone. I might have found, but I'm
Yeah,
looking.
cool. Well, I'm looking forward to you
See,
interviewing
this is
people.
how you're actually in my podcast brain. It's like when things come to me, I'm like, oh, you know what? I've got to find somebody who wants to talk about that.
Right?
And oddly enough, it's delivered.
So you're
Oddly. No, I'm
manifesting.
serious. It's I'm like, that's interesting. And then I'll turn the TV on and I watch other podcasts. And I'm like, she's my guest.
Yeah.
How do I contact her? I
There
go
you go.
into LinkedIn. Oh my God, my friend is talking to her. Now that's delivered.
Yes, that is delivered. That is the it that is delivered. I
That's
get
what I'm
you.
saying. And that's what happens if you let it happen. If
Mm,
you're driving down the block and you're trying to control the everything, if you're, manifesting the lights and manifesting the people around you and manifesting it all, you're not manifesting anything. You're controlling.
right.
I
So,
don't I don't necessarily believe in manifesting. What I do believe is that if something interests you, now you need to start listening,
yes.
because then you'll be able to find the breadcrumbs.
Right.
And that is that is the practice
Hmm.
of
Well, when
manifestation.
you're talking, there's a certain aspect of sort of reticular activation. And once you become aware of something that you want, or that you are familiar with, or that you want to, dig into, you start to see more of it. It starts to become more in your awareness. And I think that is part of what could be said manifestation. And what I think you touched on is when we want something or we intend for something, we have to allow it to come to us, and we have to look for it to come in different ways. Because if we try to control the path, the one path that it can come at us, we ignore the other paths that come in and we miss it.
Right.
And then we need to receive it. So a lot of people have a problem with receiving too. So you have to, if you are going to expand the paths of which something can come to you, you also have to allow it to come to you, and receive it. So these are things that I think people learn over time. And I think you and I are
Mm-hmm.
kind of old enough to realize that,
Yeah.
what doesn't
You
work.
know, it,
And just to
it's
let go of control as well, because that's a big deal, and that's a hard one. I mean,
yes, it is.
still struggle with that, but yeah. Well, we've been talking for a long time, and I didn't know if you wanted to be. I want to ask you one final question, and then we can wrap up because we were just speaking about control, and you have control right now of the button.
How much time have we talking? Oh, it's plenty.
Like,
Go ahead.
okay. So my final question for you is there anything that you would like to be asked as a podcaster or as Joy Brooks that you have not been asked, but you would like to be asked?
Oh, wow. Anything I'd like to be.
What would you like to be asked, Joy?
Gosh. Is there a problem if I say there's no question? People can ask me any question. I don't know if there's any particular question that that comes to mind that somebody. I enjoy so many conversations, so many bizarre conversations.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing that I would say no to, aside from complete darkness. So I'll push away evil in its most dark. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Um, um, I take the story of Eve and the snake as this: let evil into your heart, and only evil can come from it. And I mean any kind of evil, any negative, anything, violent, anything that just doesn't serve, I don't know, the light, the force. How can I explain it? The good. I have a very um, edgy good and evil
Mm-hmm.
in my mind. Oh, so what if people don't ask me? Let's talk about good and evil. I have a very big edge of what's right and what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And if I perceive something is very wrong,
Mm-hmm.
um, I will push it out of my life. I will not entertain it. I will not even let it in.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean, Joy, do you want to eat, ice cream? Well, I don't eat ice cream. I'm not, oh, it's evil. Ice cream's not evil. I just don't eat it, So it's not like that. It's along the lines of um, activism. I
Mm-hmm.
don't see anything positive coming out of activism. I see positivity coming out of talking with people and becoming active locally, but there's a negative to me how I see things in activism. It brings out all the worst in you.
Mm-hmm.
It does not bring out the positive, and you don't get anything accomplished. You just get people more divided.
Right.
So I look at activism as an evil. I do. I really do. I'll tell people all the time, you want to get involved? Go to a soup kitchen, do something, you know, or run for office, run for a local office. You could do something that way, but don't just talk about it. So,
Okay.
so
Says
says Joy. So the conversation that I'd love to have with people would be, uh, let's talk about good and evil.
That's a great topic. Interesting. Good and evil. Again, we're coming back to consciousness and love. And it sounds to me like some good guests might be people who are in the philosophy,
Mhm.
spiritual teaching type of environment that would be very, very helpful. I think very interesting and just so needed. to take your perspectives and your learning and have those conversations with those people. So, yeah, you should do it.
I have faith in the human race. I do have faith in human race. I do. And sometimes that faith is gets a punch in the face. And that hurts. Where I'm like, oh, people, can't you just do the right thing? What's wrong with you people? You people.
You people.
So I do have faith. I really do think that given the chance, we'll do the right thing. But I don't think that people think about the right thing. I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is.
Well, I think that's another interesting topic to explore, maybe with a philosopher, would be the human condition and humanity in general, and what we're inclined to do, what we've always been inclined to do, and if there's any way to break that cycle, because I just see it happening over and over and over again, and I just personally feel like our brains are wired to self-destruct. So the way we conduct ourselves as a species, it goes beyond culture and countries and borders.
Oh
Just
yeah, oh yeah.
feel like
We're
as
very complex creatures. We do the
Homo
hardest thing.
sapiens, and I haven't read enough to be able to back this up with any history or anthropology or anything like that, but just from what I've observed, and I do like history and I've studied a little bit of it, but I'm a little
Well,
bit
we're
pessimistic.
here.
I live with an optimist and I'm the pessimist, so we make really good pair.
Here's the upside. We're here. We're still here.
Yeah, but for how long? Right?
I don't know.
I mean, I'm not going to live long enough to actually see this, whatever's going to happen.
I don't know.
I'm just like, I'm not quite.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
And given the my realization that it's more about consciousness than it is about the body. That makes me think not only are we here, but we've been here forever and will continue to be here.
Yeah, but we haven't. We haven't been here forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe consciousness has, but we
right.
as a species have not. So, oh God,
I don't know. What
rabbit hole with you right now?
Are we consciousness or are we just bag of bones? What are we?
Good question. I look forward to your podcast guest to answer that question.
There you go.
For a great conversation, and I'm so happy
That's a good place to end it, is it not? What are we, a bag of bones?
That's a great ending note there, girlfriend. Thank you for letting me interview you for your Email and Coffee.
I appreciate it. And as I always say, do you know what I always say at the end?
What?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
You're welcome, my friend.
To switch it up. To be on the other end. No, I don't want to say that. Bye, everyone.
Bye.